What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and with a lot going on in the subcompact market, a lot of reviews, a lot of new releases, and just stuff like that, I feel like we're making a comeback, and it's for a good reason, and we're going to touch on why. I could literally talk about the subject for forever. As you can see, subcompacts are my favorite size of firearm for many, many reasons, but let's take a deeper dive into it. Hit the like button, drop a comment down below, tell me what you carry today, what your favorite firearm is, what defensive ammo you used, or put anything else. I don't really care. But anyways, the Glock 26. This is my go-to everyday carry firearm. I have a bunch of them. I absolutely love them. They've never done me wrong. And they're some of the most versatile firearms, as well as the Glock 27, Glock 33, and so on. But subcompacts hold a special place in my opinion. And they are thicker, which you're right, but they all tend to be short. Very easy to conceal. The Glock 26 with the flush 10-round mag being a 10+1 setup is shorter than about any other firearm that you'll see on this table with their flush mag, and very easy to conceal. For me, I don't have a problem if the frame and the slide is just this long. I have no problem with a little extra width, right? Because if you take something like the Glock 43X, 1.1 inches wide, 1.26 inches wide. So they're about 0.15 inches different, right? But what I have a hard time concealing is that. I don't have a hard time concealing this. So they end up working out perfect for me. A big thing that I always tell people who are getting new into firearms and they ask what they should get and stuff like that, I always tell them the Glock 26, and that's for multiple reasons. One, you tend to get a reliable firearm right out of the box. Two is what we're going to touch on right now, the shootability. These firearms are thicker, right? Just like the Springfield Armory XD subcompact. They are thicker, but at the same time, that helps with shootability. So someone new to firearms is absolutely going to love the feel of this firearm because one, they can shoot it. Two, they can still conceal it, and when they get home for home defense later, if they want to, they can always throw in the larger mag of its big brother. And every subcompact that you see on this table right now can take the larger magazines from the larger models. That's the Smith & Wesson M&P 40C. It can take the larger 40 mags, and on top of that, be converted to 357 SIG or 9mm, and take those mags from Smith & Wesson. This Stoeger STR9 subcompact can take all the larger Stoeger mags. This Smith & Wesson right here has a crazy amount of different magazines for it. 9mm subcompact 2.0, and I have a couple of them, but I love the larger mag that you can use for home defense. They even put a nice little sleeve on it and everything and make it very comfortable to use out of your subcompact. Ruger with the Ruger SR9C is a 17-round mag, once again with a grip sleeve, so there's no gap. It doesn't look like it's just a mag hanging out. They have a legit sleeve that Ruger made and engineered with this firearm, allowing you to get 17 rounds. Throw a light on this thing and it can now become your home defense very easily. This is my CZ-P10S. Absolutely love this thing. I also have the 15-round mag for it. It's great. All these firearms have the ability to go super small in grip length or super long when you get home, when you don't have to worry about concealing. A lot of people want to run around carrying a full-size firearm and stuff like that, or even a compact, which is fine, to each his own. But when it comes down to it, the shootability between these two firearms is not very different. I honestly think the Glock 19 is a harder firearm to shoot than my 26, and that's for multiple reasons. One, that muzzle flip. With a longer slide reciprocating, you're going to have more muzzle flip. Out of a shorter firearm, if you really learn to recoil, this will have less muzzle flip. With a Glock 19, it doesn't even handle the recoil that much better. They use different style of guide rods, and I feel like the subcompacts on the Glock 26, their guide rods handle recoil better. So I have a lot of people, and I don't mean just one or two, I have a lot of people, as well as myself, that always talk about how they shoot their Glock 26 better than their 19, better than their 17, better than their 45. And in my opinion, that's how it is with me. Also, I always talk about in previous videos that there's someone who is super high up in the professional shooting rankings, and what did he use? A Glock 26. Now, he wasn't number one, wasn't number two, but to be ranked, that's pretty crazy. And he did it all with a Glock 26. The shootability of these firearms are just on point. You look at something like the Hellcat, right? Yes, it has amazing capacity. This is a 15-round setup right here. Look how thin that is. This is a 12+1 setup on the left. So you can see where the extra rounds come from. But look how thin it is. Look how small. Look at the overall size of the firearm, right? But what happens when you get this small, yes, you still have the ability to have a larger magazine, also get a flush mag in there, make it small. Yes, you can pocket carry this, and yes, it's all the hype. But at the same time, you're never going to allow this thing to shoot the way a subcompact does. I don't care what you say. Now the trigger on some firearms may be better than a Glock, but for instance, if you compared a CZ P10S to a Hellcat, there's no way you're not going to outshoot the Hellcat with this P10S. It's just such a smooth shooter, has so much more mass on that slide, has such a low bore axis. It's just designed to be a better shooter, and that's just what it is. Everything with everyday carry and firearms in general is a give and take, right? In this case, you're getting more concealability, more comfortability, the ability to pocket carry and so on. You can also throw in the 17-round mag in there. But also, you'll never really be able to help that recoil out unless you buy a stainless steel aftermarket guide rod or a tungsten guide rod, which I don't recommend for everyday carry because I've had a lot of issues with those in the past. But you're never going to get rid of the snappiness of a smaller firearm like this. Also, something like the Glock 43X, which I absolutely love, you're limited on magazine options. You have one 10-round mag, and I know everyone's going to yell shield arms mags, PSA dagger mags. That's what I have in here right now. But here's the thing, I would never carry with those. I only carry OEM mags. It's just really odd that for some firearms, people will say, oh, no aftermarket mags, no aftermarket mags. But for the Glock 43X, they make the exception and say, okay, PSA mags, shield arms mags, even though they've been so unreliable in all these videos and all these polls with all these people, I'll still carry it. But if you look at my Glock 26 versus the Glock 43X, once again, that's where it's really big and very easy to conceal. But also, like I said, you could throw in the larger mags, and it's about the same length with that 15-round mag in. That's a Glock OEM mag. So you have all these magazine options. Once again, if crap hits the fan, if the world goes to absolute crap, and it's just all about survival, you want a subcompact. This part compatibility between this 26 and this 19 is everything but the barrel and the guide rod. Let me repeat that. Out of all the upper and lower internals, it's literally the guide rod and the barrel is the only difference. And to be honest, you could run your 19 barrel out of your 26 if you had to. So when it comes down to it, it's, you know, everyone for themselves, and your Glock 26, something happens to it, right? If you have a couple parts kits sitting around, you can take the Glock down in 2 seconds and throw it in. And that's how a lot of these other subcompacts are too. They all use the same parts. Stuff like the Glock 43X, it uses parts from the Glock 43, but that's a less popular firearm nowadays and stuff like that. And it's not all 100% compatible. Something like a Hellcat. Yes, the Hellcat Pro and the Hellcat can swap out slides and other stuff, but that's going to be your only option. Glock being one of the most popular firearm brands in the world, literally you can swap this out with everything from its bigger models, even the 40s. It drops down to about 80% of the part kit is compatible with 40s and 357 SIGs and 45 GAPs and stuff like that, but they're still very compatible, allowing you to have a firearm that can last for forever, or use it for trading or whatever the case may be if crap did hit the fan. But subcompacts, they're easy to conceal, they're reliable. At this point, they're considered outdated and old, but yet they're the most tested firearms. They've been around for forever. And the fact that the Glock 26, now Glock just released the MOS version, trust me, people are going to start buying them more often. Also, FN's released subcompacts, and Smith & Wesson released a new version of this subcompact right here. So people are starting to realize, hey, these smaller firearms, yes, we love them. Yes, they're, you can get good at shooting them, but at the same time, I can carry something a little thicker with more shootability, still put light ammo in it, and it's very easy to handle the recoil and get follow-up shots with, even with just a stock Glock trigger. So I absolutely love subcompacts. I always tell people that should be your first purchase. I think it is the perfect middle ground between concealability and shootability. It's a perfect firearm for versatility, from being able to possibly pocket carry if you had to, all the way up to home defense and just everyday carry. It's literally a one-stop shop. It's just a great overall choice in firearms. Stuff like this XD, this is on its second barrel right here. This is taking a little bit of a beating, but this is one of my first firearms. This is over 12,000 rounds through it. I kid you not. This thing, not a single hiccup. And yes, it's bulky and stuff, but this is the firearm I'm best at shooting one-handed. Is seriously the XD subcompact with a 3-inch barrel. This firearm is so easy to shoot one-handed, and if you think about self-defense and stuff like that, chances are a lot of people, when it comes to a self-defense encounter, they assume you're going to be like this, lining up your sights. I guarantee you 90% of the time, you're going to be shooting one-handed from the hip, from the chest, from the side. You're not even going to have time to get a second hand on it, and if you do, you're not using sights. So being able to shoot one-handed is definitely something you need to be good at. You need to get down those fundamentals. Also, they do make the larger mags, like I said. So this is a great firearm to shoot. I actually enjoy shooting this thing one-handed. There's no recoil. It honestly feels like you're shooting a 380 out of the XD subcompact. And yes, it's blocky and chunky, but once again, look how short it is from here to here. Just very easy firearms to conceal. And another thing I'll mention, is there are a lot of subcompacts chambered in 40. And that's a big thing for people. A lot of people just feel more comfortable with 40. The fact that you can defend yourself against a bear, now it's not recommended, you should have a 10mm, but if you throw the right loads in M&P 40C, hard cast 200 grain loads, potentially you can defend yourself against anything in North America. On top of that, if you do get a 40 subcompact, like I know they make the XT9 subcompact in 40, which would be an absolute beast of a firearm because of the way it handles recoil, you can always convert those to 9mm and 357 SIG, which are two other awesome calibers to have, and they tend to run reliably. But yeah, those are subcompacts. Trust me, subcompacts are the greatest size firearm. I don't care what anyone says. They're the most versatile, proven at this point, reliable, aftermarket support, compatibility with magazines and parts. What more can you really ask for out of a firearm? I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.